Well, pretty simple. We're starting here and we're ending here. Good Sunday morning, trekkers, and welcome to the Douglas Trail in Minnesota. This paved recreational trail runs from Pine Island all the way down to Rochester, approximately 12.5 miles. In between, it stops by the little town of Douglas, where it gets its name from, and just basically winds through the cornfields of the countryside. Taking a moment here to actually shoot this because this is a moderately well-traveled trail. I don't typically go 2 minutes or more without seeing multiple people, bikes, runners, hikers, dogs, rabbits. This is, as you would imagine, an abandoned railroad grade that was paved over. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous morning. I started out almost 8 o'clock on the button this morning after a shuttle from Rochester. We're going to go from Pine Island all the way down to Rochester, that 12 and a half, 13 miles. And yeah, it was about 63 or 64 degrees this morning. It's going to warm up. It is perfectly cloudless skies, but we're mostly in the trees and there's a nice breeze. This has been a fantastic hike so far. All right.
Just before I captured this clip, the kid fell sideways off his bike. His left training wheel arm had flipped up on him. But without a word, he got off the ground, picked up his bike, kicked the arm back in place. His attempt to get back on the bike left him on the ground again. He got back up again, got on successfully the second time, and rode on. Love that kid.
Yeah, look at this. This is pretty cool. Now this natural path, as they call it, is for horses and mountain bikers. And I suppose I could walk it too, but and it would be a little better than the pavement. We're not supposed to, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to break the law today. Saunders and I often talk about perspective. Perspective. My shuttle driver this morning had a very difficult time comprehending that he was shuttling someone who was going to walk the entire length of the Douglas Trail, 12.5 miles. He thought it was 14. It might actually end up being close to that. Our backgrounds for Saunders and I, and the journey we've had to get from there to where we are now, the people we've met, the experiences that we've had, give us a very unique perspective on athletic perspective. The driver understood what the Appalachian Trail was. He knew about the Pacific Crest Trail, but there was no cognition for him to really understand what's involved in someone through hiking the Appalachian Trail or the Ice Age Trail or the Douglas Trail. And when I mentioned to him that the average Appalachian Trail hiker is going to put in between 12 to 18 miles a day carrying 30 to 40 pounds, it was beyond his comprehension. to him, I was a superstar. And out here on this trail, I've seen people out running rather quickly, and they're likely making this part of their 15-mile weekly long run. There are people on really expensive bikes. They're probably making this the lollipop handle to a bigger route that uses county roads. There's people out walking their dogs. And I think that's the beautiful thing with perspective, is that these trails give you an opportunity to find whatever level of effort you're willing to put forward to have your everyday adventure. Just look at this countryside. Not quite what I think you'd expect for south central Minnesota, would you? I don't know I know hardly anything about the geological history of this area. But what I do know is that less than about 40 miles to the west begins the Great Plains. I've driven through there, where I was just in that area yesterday. And then less than 30 miles off to the east, that way, you begin the highly eroded sandstone bluffs of the Mississippi River Valley. And in between here, there's a couple of rivers that flow through this area, and out of that combination of being in between and having those rivers just seems to give this a rather unique and compelling geology. So if you're on a trail and you sneeze, but there's no one around to hear you, did you actually sneeze? Yeah, you did. Well, 8 miles in, and we are beginning to get into, not quite, but beginning to get into the outer reaches of Rochester. Probably another mile here, and we'll start walking through subdivisions. As it is, the homes and gardens have popped up a little bit more. Oh, very nice. They have beautiful trees out here. Help me out, guys. Is this a locust? What is this? And picnic bench. I'm assuming you could use that if you wanted to. I don't know. Ooh, apple orchard. Beauty. Look at the apples are almost ready. Wow. We're getting close. It's the last day of July. But we're at 8 miles. And there is probably about a little over 5 miles left to go here. I'm feeling that 8 miles. I've started taking a topical pain reliever for my back, doctor's orders, and it is working wonders. But instead of pain, now it's just stiffness and being tired and weak and walking on pavement, and I'm feeling every mile of it right now. But gorgeous day. Clouds are coming in. Not supposed to rain though, but who knows. Closing in on 10 miles, and the 4-mile marker was about a half mile behind me, so 3.5 or so to go. South of Douglas, which is just a little crossroads, but it has a nice large parking lot for the trailhead, and it is a Douglas trail, so you'd assume that. Maybe. It's getting pretty busy. I wanted to take some shots there at Douglas, but there are 15-20 people milling around the lot and the picnic tables, and for every 2 that left, 3 came in. And the trail is getting pretty busy here now as we get towards early afternoon and also towards a city of over 100,000 people. Yeah, there won't be much more filming going on here. Pretty soon we'll be seeing subdivisions. And a small thunderstorm is coming, and I'm not confident that it will miss me. I will get very, very wet. And subdivisions have begun. Welcome to Rochester. There we go. 1 mile to go.